Everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to review another fine product from FIFINE. So as you remember last time, they sent me that SC3 Ampli-Game audio interface that was only $50 and had a ton of capabilities for either running XLR or USB microphones. Today what they've sent me is the AM8 streaming or recording microphone, and as you can see, not only does it come in white or black, you can also get it in pink. But they also sent me with these microphones a BM88 low profile boom arm that you can pair with one of these things or any microphone that you may have laying around. Attach this thing to your desk and just really set your streaming setup off the right way for a great price. And before we wrap this video up, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do some audio testing so you can hear what this microphone sounds like through USB, XLR, and if you're running it through a program that has some filters that you can apply to this thing, what it sounds like when this thing is turned up to the max and how good of quality this thing actually has. I do just want to say thanks to FIFINE and Ted out there with FIFINE for reaching out to me and having me check these products out, sending them to me so I could give a review on them, and I won't hold back. I will tell you everything that I feel about these microphones, so I don't want you to feel like I'm going to be biased just because they sent it to me, but we do have some good, bad, and some ugly, so let's jump right into that. So the good thing about this is obviously the price and affordability. So whether you're just starting out streaming, gaming, or anything that you need a microphone for, this thing is going to come in at $50 and you really cannot beat that for a decent microphone. In my opinion, your stream is reliant on good audio from the streamer itself, and this thing definitely provides that great audio quality and clarity whenever you're streaming. As you can see, it does have some RGB on it, so you do actually have a button that you can control or turn off the RGB if you don't necessarily want it, and you have a button so you can actually mute the mic, and since it's on top, you'll be able to see it right there in front of you so you can know if you're broadcasting a sound or not. Additionally, there are a couple of knobs on this thing that control the microphone gain and also an audio monitoring that you can hook a 3.5mm jack up to the back side of the microphone and adjust the amount of sound that you're hearing coming into your headphones. Like I mentioned earlier, you do have a couple of options as far as colors go. If you want to go with a white or black or pink to definitely fit your streaming area, they definitely have a few options so you're not limited to just a single color microphone. And last but not least, on the good, it does have that versatility of a USB or XLR, whether or not you have an audio interface, or if you're just running this thing right out of the box, plugging it in and using this as your input source on your computer. This thing will definitely fit any budget, so you don't need additional equipment. And once again, it does come with its own bass, so you don't necessarily have to have a boom arm if you wanted. You can just buy this microphone by itself, run it out of the box, and you'll be all good to go. Now, there's not a lot of bad with this microphone that I found. I wouldn't say that a directional microphone is a negative, but this thing is very sensitive to speaking directly into the microphone, which is what it's designed for. But whenever I'm streaming, there are times that I kind of lean back into my chair and I'm not directly in front of my microphone, and the audio definitely does not pick up. So I will say that's kind of a hard thing to say it's a bad for this. It is definitely sensitive to speaking that 2 to 6 inches that they recommend from the front of the microphone, but I will show you in the testing here in a minute that once you get to the side, the audio definitely diminishes, but like I mentioned, this thing is set for speaking directly into it, so make sure that you are monitoring your audio so you know that if you get off center, that you can correct that pretty quick, because it will definitely drop that quality. The only other downside of this microphone, like I mentioned with the SC3 Ampli-Game, is FIFINE does not have their own software to adjust the settings of this microphone or to add a threshold or any type of filters, but I will say that they do have instructions in their instruction manual that shows how to set up with a program called Audacity that is completely free, but you can add noise reduction and threshold and things like that, so you can definitely improve the sound of this. I personally ran it through Streamlabs, which has filters that are very easy to control and very easy to manipulate this, so look more for that here whenever we do the testing in just a minute. So as far as the ugly goes with this microphone, there's really not a lot of ugly about it. It has a very good design, very classy look, and honestly, it's very easy to just run out of the box. Now, one thing I did forget that is if you are running this through an XLR cable, you will not have the RGB function, but that's kind of minor. But not only that, if you wanted to turn the RGB on and off, you can also do that just by holding the button on the bottom. It'll turn that off if you don't want to mess with the RGB, but it is an option that you kind of miss out on if you are running it through an XLR cable. All right, so this is currently the FIFINE AM8 microphone run via USB with no filters, nothing added. This is just a raw microphone plugged in. You may be able to hear a little bit of wind noise, but you're gonna have this with any type of USB microphone if you do not have any type of filters or anything to kind of regulate that. So what I'm gonna do is, as you can tell, this thing can pick up just about anything. But what I'm gonna do is apply just some basic filters to any audio software, any streaming software is gonna have available to you, 100% free. So it's not like you have to purchase another audio program or anything along those lines. So what I'm gonna do right now is go ahead and set those filters, and then you'll be able to hear what this thing sounds like whenever you have that added to it. All right, now that I've got those filters applied to this microphone through the Streamlabs software, you can definitely tell this thing has a much more crisp, very warm sound. It is a lot better. And for a free program and a microphone that costs $50, if I knew about this or had something like this whenever I started streaming a few years ago, this would have been key to just setting that quality of my stream. The quality of your stream is definitely what brings people in. They don't want some mic that is distorted or anything like that. And this thing definitely hits the mark when it comes to having good quality equipment. Now, what I've done is, like I said, the filters that I've applied, I've just applied a limiter, so it's not gonna, if I scream, if I'm in a scary game, or if I end up yelling at something, it's not gonna break your eardrums. If something happens outside, if the dogs are barking, it's not going to pick that up because that threshold is set. So it's very easy, and there's so many videos out there to show you how to set up a USB microphone through Streamlabs or OBS. So now that you've heard this thing through the USB configuration, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually hook the other microphone up and run it through my Go XLR so you can hear what it sounds like through an XLR cable. Now, the only thing about this microphone is once you use an XLR, you are solely basing all the audio output into your audio interface. So what I'm going to end up doing, like you won't have the RGB, you won't have all the fancy stuff as far as that goes. So what I'm going to do is, now that I've got this other one hooked up, you'll be able to hear it, see how this thing sounds, and let's go ahead and knock that out. Okay, so now we have this thing set up. So it's run through an audio interface with an XLR cable. As you can see, none of the RGB is on, none of the knobs or anything like that work, because whenever this thing is run through XLR, it dedicates all the audio management through the actual audio interface, so it doesn't interrupt or conflict with anything like that. This thing still has very good sound, and like I mentioned earlier, this thing is dedicated to speaking directly into it. It's not like some microphones that have different options. This thing is set up so if you do kind of get off to the side, you can tell that it does still pick it up, but it is not as good and clear. They do recommend 2 to 6 inches, so you definitely want to have a little bit of that buffer room, and it kind of changes it from being right up on top of your microphone. So this thing has very good sound. I love this microphone. Like I mentioned with the USB, if I would have known about something like this, as cheap as this is, whenever I was just getting into streaming, this is absolutely something I would invest my money into. So now that we've talked about the microphones, what I wanted to do is kind of go over this boom arm that they sent me. This is the, like I mentioned, the BM88 low profile boom arm. It does have an articulating arm right here that will pivot up and down, and the whole thing has the capability of swiveling to pinpoint that microphone wherever you may need it. It also has these cable covers right here. You simply slide the cover one direction. You have access to put the XLR cable or the USB cable in. Once you get it where you want it, tuck it in there. All you do is simply slide that cover over it and lock it into place. Now this thing is very sturdy. It does have a couple of set screws that will allow you to adjust the tension on this arm, but as you can see, it has a very, like it advertises, low profile and sleek design to keep all the clutter and the mess out of your way whenever you're trying to stream and present a professional look with your streaming setup. Now, if you were not running this with the FIFINE microphone that comes with the yoke to mount it on here, the boom arm itself actually comes with an adapter piece, so you can connect almost any microphone that you have out on the market today. It does have some adjustability right here in the head of it that allows you to articulate that and place this microphone exactly where you want it. Tighten that up to lock it into place and you're all set to go. So there you have it. The FIFINE AM8 microphone that is a killer budget piece of equipment that will definitely set your stream just to another level, and honestly, you won't break the bank doing it. If you would like to get one of these microphones for yourself, I'm actually going to be giving one of these away, and I'm going to go ahead and throw that boom arm in with it. Look down below in the description for the details on that, and if you want to purchase one of these just in time for Christmas, the link will be in the description for both the boom arm and the microphone. Like I said, I appreciate you watching this video. I always appreciate time spent here. Feel free to like, subscribe, let me know what you would like to see. And if you've got any questions about this product, please feel free to hit me up in the comments. I'll answer any questions that y'all have. I appreciate your time here. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.